Life without coffee is hard, y'all. I don't know how you do it. I'm trying to cut back and it's clearly failing. And it's so bitter too. Hi everyone, welcome to One Hungry Mish. As you can see, it's the morning here. I have wet hair and really was just that eager to talk to you about 5 of my favorite hikes since moving here. If you don't know, I moved from the city, and like I said, it's so easy to say you love nature when it's so far away from you, but just really wanted to highlight since moving here some truly wonderful and accessible hikes that I do think that some people might either feel a little too intimidated to do, but are definitely worth doing. And as you can see as well, I need my coffee, so hopefully I'll be able to talk through this while making some coffee this morning. Since it's my top 5 since moving here, I'm going to start down with number 5. It's actually one of the first hikes I was able to do since moving out to the Pacific Northwest. I actually was able to reconnect with a friend who I think is a darling human. We actually share the same birthday, so happy belated birthday, friend. I'm recording on my day off from my birthday, so knowing that we both had that a little bit ago, just want to say hey. And you know, if you want to give some extra loving for that birthday while I do awkward hand gestures, that's cool too, y'all. If not, ignore me. But you know, we went out to this place called 4th of July Mountain. It's out in the Chelan area, so you go technically to the Wenatchee Forest for it, but it's an unmaintained hike, so I don't know if you actually need a permit for it. All the hikes I did, I know were definitely covered under the America the Beautiful hike if they needed any passes, which covers all national forests, national parks, et cetera, et cetera. But it is this wonderful, unmarked place that, you know, you go up this path, because even though it's unmaintained, it is so popular that it's a very clear dirt path to take. You go up this mountain, and you can catch a beautiful overview of Lake Chelan. I thought it was really good. It was really nice. Funny story though, so my friend actually got a really graceful picture of me overlooking one of the views. So as you go up, you can see the view of the general area even before the lake, and it's phenomenal. But that view, contrary to how majestic I might look, I'm reevaluating life, because part of those, hey, say I love nature, coming from the city, technically adjusting to this, I made the poor mistake of eating a katsu sandwich, so a deep fried sandwich before going on this hike. And wow, I was contemplating everything. The views are so worth it. So I ended up getting it up there. A friend and I cracked a beer and watched the sunset, and it was just truly magical. And if you can guess it, I mean, that's top 5, so it only gets better from here. Okay, was waiting for the water to stop boiling. It was getting a little distracting for me. So the other hike I wanted to talk about is Dreamy Peak. It is a hike that is in the, I think it is technically part of Mount Rainier's National Forest / Park, but it is this peak that overlooks a lake, I believe Lake Eunice. You go out to Lake Mowash and then you do this cute little idyllic hike, like truly feels like you're in a Disney fantasy land. Very easy hike, thankfully. Bring bug spray with DEET. I don't know what your debate is or stance is with DEET, but one of my companions who went with me, he was pretty much on the sense of, I don't need DEET, I'll be fine, I'll just cover all my body. He stopped counting around 73 bug bites. Mosquitoes are no joke in the summer in true wilderness. Now that I've given that disclaimer and maybe scared a few of you off, sorry, but it is actually this really charming Disney-esque hike that, you know, you go through a bunch of wildflowers. I believe it's actually a hike that's recommended if you do love seeing the wild blooms in the summertime, but it also is a wonderful overlook of Lake Eunice from, again, Dreamy Peak and Mount Rainier. It was a really charming hike that one of their friends had suggested and we did together, and we ended up having little spam smoothies, and it was really nice, barring the mosquitoes. I still say it's worth it, just seriously, even if it makes you feel silly, if you get one of those mosquito hats, those were the OGs, those were the real people. They knew it was up, and I think they enjoyed themselves to the fullest. There was like no distractions in that at all. And number 3, so I know I got a little bit on a tangent there, Maple Pass in the Cascade Range. If you stay out in this town called Winthrop, you'll end up being able to also indulge in some old Western vibes if you want. Actually, when I said I was going to go out of my way to stay overnight at Winthrop, a lot of people had a lot of recommendations. Apparently Winthrop's a pretty popular local getaway. Down to the food, it's just a good all-around place to do things. So even if you're not into hiking and or you're with someone who's not into hiking and they're down to do separate things during the day and come back together, or a trail you want to do is too hard for them, you can stop in Winthrop, have them do their thing, you do your thing, and meet together. But in our case, we didn't need to worry about that. We literally just woke up at I think like 3 a.m. because we wanted to catch Maple Pass, knowing that it's really popular in the fall because this is where you can see, yes, this is an evergreen state, but there are a lot of red leaf maples, a lot of larches, which are these trees that look like Douglas firs until fall comes and they hit this bright golden color. It is phenomenal. It's this wonderful loop that you do. Nothing too steep. Definitely recommend boots. Most of the hikes, honestly, out in this area, afterwards, 3, 2, 1, I would recommend hiking boots. This is a place with a lot of elevation. And even if it's just for peace of mind, you do get a better grip to the ground. And I know going when I went, it was starting to slowly ice over. So if you also are on that level of having invested in something called micro spikes, use them. That's what they're there for, to help against snow and ice. But it truly was this magical fall environment, and you actually can find a sign about being in the North Cascades. Okay, and then number 2 is actually one that's part of a pass-through hike. I did Kolchak Lake with my friend, the same one I did the 4th of July mountain with, and it was great. Went from 4th of July mountain area, spent the night in Chelan, drove down to the Enchantments parking lot for Kolchak. As you can guess, the pass-through hike is called the Enchantments, and it truly is that. If you want to do a multi-day hike through it, you need a permit, but I do know some pretty ambitious people, including a friend who her first hike ever was the full Enchantments, who did it all in one day. It is really rocky, so if you also need that extra knee support, trekking poles are great. I brought my trekking poles and didn't use them, and my knees hated me for it. So you know what? You learn what you learn. There's actually a great note on this point of saying, if you are a kind of person who potentially can get lost, All Trails is your best friend. My friend and I were pretty confident in ourselves, so while she had All Trails downloaded for this trail, because if you have the premium version, you can download and keep it offline, and it's actually really great at keeping yourself on track. We ended up going a mile off trail on the way to Stewart Lake, because the path we went to was the Stewart Lake to Kolchak Fork, and instead of taking that trip split left, we just kept going straight. Because we ran into someone else who had done the trail before, and she's like, have you seen the bridge yet? We all realized we were in the wrong area. But it was still really great. Was able to see a few mountain goats, see aquatic life, swim through the lake. I think it was an eel or I was gonna say sea snake, lake snake, but wasn't going to be diving in that cold, icy water, nor be trying to get closer to that to see more. It was actually really cool. It was really great. So, number one. Okay, am I the only one excited? That's okay. It's one worth being excited about, though. It's called Mount Storm King. If that isn't a cool enough name for you alone, I don't know what will do it for you. Oh, coffee's almost done. It is truly this really great hike. It is part of the peninsula. I would say that out of all the hikes that I did with my friends, so a couple of friends from Chicago flew in and we drove out to the peninsula and had a wonderful trip and time out there together. But one of the best hikes out of the entire time was Mount Storm King. It is a short hike, but almost entirely vertical. And at the end, it is a little bit of a scramble. So I will warn anyone now, if you're scared of heights, maybe you just stop before then. It's still amazing views. You just don't do that last 2,000 feet to get to that viewpoint. Because it is a scramble that involves, supporting yourself with ropes where needed. It is really narrow, so pretty much only one side can go through at a time. So you gotta be really patient, which may be a good thing, because if you are with people like I didn't realize one of my friends was maybe a little more skittish with, what do you call it, straight edges, you just see the other side pretty clearly. It can be a bit of a shock for people. I guess my time in the Philippines while visiting family as a kid kind of helped me with that, because a lot of people just think tropical islands, but the region where my family is from is also quite mountainous. So you get really used to that, I guess, early on in life. But short scramble, really worth it. I would even say, like, for those who have done hikes around the Olympic Peninsula, definitely would say it tops things like Hurricane Ridge. And, you know, I really want to do the Hoh River hike, but the Hall of Moss, I'm just like, it's cool. Kind of reminds me of Florida. I'm good. But Mount Storm Peak's like nothing I ever saw before. Like, you see Lake Crescent or Crescent Lake overlooking it. You're a short distance from Port Angeles. If you don't want a long drive, you can just stay there. If you're someone who's into Twilight, because I have some friends who are really into that, it's on the way to Forks. But yeah, coffee's done and I'm done, which is kind of great because I realized without this caffeine, I'm running out of words. So thanks for watching, y'all. Stay hungry. Bye.